The music was soft. The vineyard bathed in golden light. Glasses clinked, laughter carried across the rows of vines. But at the head table, where family should have belonged, I saw the name cards. His name, hers, even their cat, written in elegant cursive, as if that animal held more significance in my daughter's new world than I did. My chair was missing. I had paid for this vineyard. I had tasted the wines, chosen the menu, negotiated every detail. I had done it because I thought this day was about her, about us. But when she caught my eye, when she leaned toward me and whispered, "Mom, you were always better at staying out of the spotlight," something inside me went very still. I smiled. I didn't answer. I didn't argue. I simply folded my napkin, stood quietly, and left a note on the tablecloth. The rest, as they say, was theater. It didn't start that night. No, this performance had been rehearsed long before. I remember the first time I saw him, my ex-husband. He was all charm, all light, the kind of man who entered a room and rewired the air. I was younger then, eager to believe that kind of energy meant protection, devotion. For years I gave him everything. I believed his promises, believed that when he said forever, he meant us. But forever has a way of curdling. I noticed the late nights first, the whispers on the phone, the sudden urgency to work late. Then the silences, long, deliberate silences in bed beside me where he thought I wouldn't notice his mind wandering elsewhere. But I noticed. I notice everything. The truth revealed itself in fragments. A lipstick smudge on his collar, wrong shade. A receipt from a hotel tucked inside his jacket pocket, dated on a night he swore he was out of town. A message on his phone, saved under a man's name but written like a lover's sigh. By the time I confronted him, the denial was half-hearted. He was already gone, already hers. And then came the divorce. The lawyers, the division of property. My dignity was supposed to be collateral damage. I let him believe I was broken. I let him think I would disappear. That's how men like him prefer their ex-wives, silent, defeated, out of sight. He never understood that silence was not surrender. Silence was strategy. So when my daughter invited him and her and their cat to her head table, I smiled. She thought it was love. She thought forgiveness was proof of maturity. She thought I would obey the role she scripted for me, the quiet benefactor, paying the bills while others took the bows. She underestimated me. I spent months arranging this wedding. Not just the vineyard, not just the catering, the contracts, the payments, the licenses. Every receipt carried my name. Every agreement listed me as guarantor. Quietly, I kept the leverage where it belonged, with me. And the note I slipped onto the table? It wasn't sentimental. It wasn't a blessing. It was the final act. When she unfolded the paper, her eyes scanned the words. Her face drained of color. She looked at him, then her. The chatter around us stilled, because the note was simple. By the time you read this, the vineyard will have revoked tonight's contract. The food, the flowers, the music, you will owe it all. I paid in advance, yes, but the agreements were conditional, signed under my name, and I canceled them before I walked away. This night belongs to me. You wanted me out of the spotlight? Watch what happens when I leave. The caterers received the call an hour before. The florists, too. The band packed their instruments mid-song. Wine bottles were corked and wheeled away like stolen treasure. Plates were cleared before the first toast. Gasps, confusion, panic. The perfect performance. And there he sat, my ex-husband, watching his daughter's wedding dissolve into silence. Watching her turn to him, fury and betrayal twisting her face, not toward me, but toward him. Because he had promised her everything. He had convinced her I was the problem. He had filled her head with lies about my bitterness. And now, in front of everyone, he looked powerless, small, stripped. The spotlight he stole so easily burned him alive. I walked out before the chaos peaked. The vineyard lights shrank behind me, music fading into nothing. My heels crunched against gravel, steady, deliberate. Did it hurt? Of course it did. She was my daughter. I carried her, raised her, gave her more love than I ever gave myself. Watching her choose him over me, that wound cut deeper than the divorce ever could. But pain is not the same as weakness. She will learn. Maybe not tonight, maybe not for years. But one day, she will see the man he really is. One day, she will remember how I stood silent while they tried to erase me, and how I walked away holding the only power that mattered. I don't regret it, not for a second. Some betrayals demand mercy, others demand memory.